Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're watching the self-proclaimed warriors of Antifa discover that real life doesn't come with respawns. Buckle up because it's protest season and the bloopers are already rolling. First up is a classic Antifa meltdown that aged like expired milk.
Second person arrested. All dressed in black, covered up in masks.
So two people have been arrested. Oh, okay, sorry. So we have two people being arrested, probably for, we don't know yet, but it's after like a big interaction between counter-protesters and some people trying to just interview them.
It kicks off with police carrying one of their freedom fighters like a toddler mid-tantrum, while the rest of the crew yells from a safe distance. Moments later, another one joins the pavement parade, proving gravity and justice are undefeated. Next comes a prime example of Antifa logic in action.
That's not how doxing works.
I'm not going to.
That's a Nazi?
I'm not a Nazi. What are you doing, man? Hey!
Whoa!
You got a problem?
Yeah.
I'm standing here. I don't want to fight, man. I don't want to fight, man.
No. He attacked. This is self-defense. Whoa,
this is not self-defense. I was doing, guys.
We have the whole thing on camera.
We're
gonna check out.
Yo. That's why his bike's on.
Dude.
Listen to them lying. Listen to them all lying.
Yeah.
He got it.
I'm getting arrested. Yo, I'm racing. Put your hands behind your back. Dude. I got you, fam. Hey, I'm gonna win this one for you. Thank you. I'm gonna win this one for you, dude.
Anti-terrorist arrested for assaulting Jack Posobiec.
Let him go. He's got a race to win, man.
He assaulted me.
This Antifa shoves the cameraman like he's starring in a low-budget action flick, then yells about self-defense like reality skipped his class. The cops show up, handcuffs ready, and suddenly the revolutionary finds out rules apply. Take a look at this chaos and smoke. We've got one brave soul in black thinking the ground is his stage, only to be surrounded by more cops than friends.
Get back! Get back!
Pepper spray, falls, and a face full of authority later, he's being lifted like a backpack with dreadlocks. Meanwhile, his friends scream like they just discovered fire, proving once again that yelling doesn't help when the cops are playing tag. Here we have a group of Antifa heroes who thought blocking traffic would bring down the system.
Not over yet.
No, they're putting the fascists in the van, you silly dick. Fascists in the van, not what it. Fascists in the van. You're wearing a mask. You're down peaceful protest. You're the Nazi.
I feel like I need my right. I need my right. I'm free.
Your brain's a mush.
I just got moving fast.
You're the fascist. And when you're in a terrorist organisation,
you're listening again. Oh, you're listening again.
Bye.
See you later.
You're the Nazi. You're wearing the black shirt.
You're the fascist. Fascist. You're the fascist. Don't worry, the fascist is in the van. The fascist is in the van now.
Guys, stop antagonising him.
They came out shouting about fascists, waving flags like they were starting World War III. But when the cops politely told a few to hop in the van, suddenly the revolution turned into a spectator sport. Next up, we've got the classic Antifa performance art moment.
Bring that! Where's the Mexican flag? Bring that shit to them!
Take your family away, you would never be seen again. But you know what? Only in America, the freedoms to do this. Go against our country.
He wasn't destroying property.
He's being arrested.
Speech. It's a form of speech.
Understand me? They just arrested this guy after burning the American flag. Many on the Antifa side, very angry. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at TimCast. I'm here on the ground reporting in Los Angeles on May Day.
A masked hero in a red shirt decides the best way to show rebellion is by burning an American flag, complete with a hammer and sickle cameo. The cops stroll in and suddenly the revolution hits pause. 1 minute you're waving flames, the next you're in handcuffs while your friends argue that free speech includes literally setting things on fire. Here we have the perfect snapshot of Antifa confidence meeting reality.
No fascist USA! No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
A group of keyboard warriors thinks chanting "No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA" is going to move mountains. Instead, the police line slowly shuffles forward like a wall of reality, politely reminding everyone that yelling louder does not equal courage. Here we have Mr. Antifa in camouflage shorts, thinking he's ready for combat.
Someone's been arrested over here. We're going to come and have a look. Sorry. Yay! Sorry. Oh wait, they took him the wrong way. He definitely is Antifa. Very Antifa. This is being Antifa. Thank you, Fred. Oh, he looks like he's upset, the Antifa guy. Okay, well, we will comply. We are compliant. Let's get a close-up of Antifa. They're going to try and flank the Patriots, but this guy's, his weekend is now ruined. His weekend is ruined. They're all going down that way. There's lefties this way, mate.
The police line politely disagrees, giving him a quick reminder that resisting arrest is not a sport. He ends up pressed against a restaurant, red hair and all, learning that street protests are not about style points. Then Patrick Bet David basically wins an entire ideology debate by saying, "I used to work minimum wage."
Would you like to live off $7.25
I
an
used to
hour?
work for $4.25 at Haagen-Dazs.
Right.
Then I
And that
went
was
and
a very
worked
different
at
time.
Burger King for $4.75.
And how much do you make
Then
now?
I make millions today. Then
Right,
I
and
worked
that's
at
why
Bob's
you like
Big Boy.
capitalism, because we're not all making
but
that.
But
And
the
that's my
difference
point.
is, but
a
the difference
millionaire is
between
critiquing
the
people in poverty
the difference,
and saying
my
you should
hope,
work harder. You should work. You know, you can be lean. We can't all be it.
My hope is that you believe you can change and improve. That you believe you can upgrade yourself. That's my
It's
belief.
very, you know what? That's what rich people like you want to keep telling us.
But
you
yeah,
can be
the
just like
difference-
me. Do you want to
yeah.
be like me? If you work hard enough,
I'm not
you can
saying
be like
that.
me.
I
It's
don't.
not very realistic.
It's actually you wouldn't be able to be like me because you
You're
wouldn't
talking
work that
down to
hard.
people like
Would you
us.
work that hard?
You don't.
Would you?
I'm not going to tell you. I don't have
Would-
to answer
would you-
that.
if you
I
don't
don't have
choose
to
to-
measure my I don't have to measure my work ethic to be worthy.
You don't have to. Then you can't be upset for others who do so.
This is the core conflict. Patrick loves capitalism because he actually used it. She hates capitalism because she wants the results without the grind. And her entire argument boils down to this. Success must be redistributed because she refuses to do what successful people did. This lady thinks Trump is literally the king of Venezuela, and CNN is allowed only for now.
What mainly are you protesting?
Just about everything he does. He's trying to take over. He's neutered Congress. He's made the courts kneel to him. He's, gosh, just about any subject you can get on. Taking health care away.
Taking healthcare away makes him a king, or is that like king? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, just trying to deny people subsidies that they had before to allow them to get health care, to take care of themselves and their family. It's just not what a first world country, the wealthiest country in the world, should do. We should be focusing more on that rather than doing what we're doing with Argentina and Venezuela, and we're trying to support them. That's killing the local farmers.
That sounds like a policy disagreement, whether we need to fund certain healthcare aspects and whatnot. It's not necessarily like fascist tendencies. You know, it's just a difference in opinion of the policy in healthcare. You know, I would agree with you in terms of they, suppress free speech, right? The ability to do that. I felt like the previous administration did that way more than the current administration did.
No, I don't feel that's the case. There's been a real move toward conservatives taking over radio stations, TV stations, and so I don't think, and not to mention AM state radio stations.
But left-leaning stations still exist, right, in America?
So far.
A king must be crowned in their imagination because otherwise they'd have to admit they're just disagreeing with normal policy. They need an evil monarchy to justify their own moral importance. Otherwise they're just voting, and that is not dramatic enough for TikTok activism. Then an old lady learns the government actually does spend billions on illegal immigrants, and suddenly the facts are more offensive than the question.
There's so many examples. You guys are so worried about the immigrants. So worried about them.
You're worried?
Yeah, you guys are so worried that they're here.
Well, I care about putting the American people first. And we have so many issues, a housing crisis. We have overflowing classrooms. Our kids aren't graduating high school and being able to read. We have all of these problems. And I think that importing tens of millions of illegal immigrants, them getting free housing, free health care, free schooling, benefits on credit cards, housing assistance, I think is terrible to do when we have homeless veterans on the street. What do you think?
I think that you are misinformed on a lot of that.
Yeah. What am I wrong about there? What I just said? Yeah.
The free benefits.
Yeah, they get all that.
No, they don't.
In California, they get free health care. I'll just start with one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about $10 billion a year we spend on illegal immigrants' health care.
You think so?
I know so.
Okay.
You want me to look that up too?
I will look it up. I'm going to go home and look up all this stuff you're saying.
Go chomp, all right.
So,
right here, California to spend $8.4 billion this year on health care for illegal aliens.
Okay, and who's that by?
This is
I'm gonna
Budget
go out.
Committee.
It's incredible how people can deny something until the receipt hits the table. $8 billion later, they're still convinced generosity grows on trees. This isn't compassion, it's financial amnesia. At some point, moral superiority has to file taxes like the rest of us. Coming up, a liberal asks why hospitals are closing and gets schooled that free healthcare still comes with a bill. Spoiler, she didn't read it.
Why do you think poor rural hospitals in red areas are saying we have to shut down now?
I'll tell you
because
exactly
of this
why.
bill.
Because we have this wonderful other bill called Obamacare that drove healthcare through the roof. It shut down hospitals. It made doctors go out of... How do you like that? Used to be that a doctor was the best, most cared for job.
Wait.
They couldn't even stay in business. We're
wait.
turning ourselves
Listen,
into Canada.
Everyone listen. You're saying the rural hospitals are lying and saying that Trump's bill and the cutting of federal funds is why they have to shut down, but that's because of Obama?
Have you been talking to all of the rural hospitals? They're all around the country. I don't think you came
I've gone
here
to every single
with
one.
a report from all of the rural hospitals. I don't think you did. No, there's no way. You know why? Because there's not that consensus yet. Here's the problem. Anytime you say we're going to give away free health care, there's no such word as free. Somebody has to pay it.
Free healthcare sounds amazing until someone reads the bill. Turns out, when you promise everything for nothing, hospitals don't magically print money, they close. But sure, let's blame capitalism for expecting to be paid in something other than moral virtue and government slogans. Next, a woman says Trump wants all-white America and proudly admits she's not in touch with the news. Journalism reinvented.
This is a perfect example of what happens when you listen to the media.
Trump is also looking for an all-white male America.
When did he say that?
I don't have a quote for you there.
Because it never happened.
I am not that in touch with the news.
So you made it up?
No.
So when did he say that?
I don't have a quote for you.
So where'd you hear it from?
I get a lot of my information from the Times.
That's the problem.
Here we have a masterclass in sourcing. I'm not in touch with reality, but I read the Times, so it must be true. Believing headlines without context is like trying to drive blindfolded. You're bound to hit something, usually common sense. Next up, everyone at this protest loves human rights for all. Until the reporter asks, even the humans inside the womb?
Human rights, what do you think about them?
We're in favor of them.
For everybody?
Yes.
How about the unborn? Do you support human rights?
Yes, of course.
For everybody?
Yes, of course.
Even people in the womb?
Well, it all depends on if they're actually a baby or not.
Science says they are.
Well, it depends on what science you're talking about.
96% of all biologists, according to the NIH. Thoughts on human rights?
I'm all for them.
Yeah, me too.
Especially now, right? Yeah.
For everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the unborn?
An unborn what?
Unborn in the womb.
No.
Yeah, no rights for them. Thoughts on human rights?
That's what we're here for.
For everybody, right?
Yes.
Including the unborn?
No.
Everyone has autonomy to not be killed, I think.
Freedom means choice. You have no argument. Stop taking rights away. Get out of here!
Human rights for all is a great slogan until you ask which humans count, and suddenly the loudest defenders of humanity become allergic to specificity. They want the moral high ground without the moral consistency, and they scream the loudest when they're exposed. Nancy Mace asks, "What is a woman?" And the woke activist immediately blue screens.
What is a woman? What is a woman? Do women have penises?
So again, I believe that women.
Democrats have gone so crazy. Women can have penises. That's not a thing. That's not biology. It's not science. Tranny. I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
There are some women who were assigned a
You
female
say
sex
you're
at
here to
birth. There are
defend
some
women. You say you're here to defend women, but shouldn't you be able to
male
define one?
at birth.
Shouldn't you be able to define one if
That's
you're for
what
women's rights? You sound like a lunatic. What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question here.
If you can't even define the category you're demanding access to, you shouldn't be leading the charge to abolish the boundaries around it. This is what happens when language becomes optional and feelings become law. You end up arguing for rights you cannot even describe. This woman thinks she lives in a fascist dictatorship.
Well, what do you think? This is a fascist dictatorship?
Yeah.
How can you guys protest like this in a fascist dictatorship?
Do you think that a fascist dictatorship automatically kills everyone who protests them? There are levels to a fascist government. What do you think happens in LA and Chicago when he has the National Guard and ICE go and beat up protesters?
Well, that's after they set police cars on fire and they attack police officers. Yeah, I mean, I've reported in that. A lot of my colleagues have. So
I'm sure you have lied about it lots.
footage doesn't lie, though. People who are instigating, attacking, and being physically antagonistic and violent against federal agents are arrested.
In Portland, they go and f***ing bow over people who are just standing there doing nothing.
Is this a fascist dictatorship, in your opinion? You guys think it's curious that you're allowed to protest 10 feet from the White House in a fascist dictatorship?
Not really.
Okay, why is he not arresting you guys if he's a fascist dictator?
Because it hasn't consolidated enough power to actually do that yet.
Maybe he's not a fascist. Maybe he's just somebody you disagree with who's president. Is that possible?
I can disagree with someone who's also a fascist and the president.
Calling people a fascist is very, very strong language, right?
Yeah, I
it
agree.
kind of leads to people hating people and wanting to...
Language for strong situations.
You think Charlie Kirk was a fascist? A lot of people called him a fascist. Did he deserve to get killed?
No, he didn't deserve to get killed, but he was a fascist.
I'm glad we agree on that. Maybe we can just end it there. We don't no political violence.
No
we disagree.
political violence.
I wish you guys the best.
While live streaming calling someone fascist is not a claim anymore. It's a reflex. The minute reality interferes, just slap the label on the person correcting you. It's emotional insurance. Because if everyone who disagrees with you is fascist, you never have to explain anything, ever. The No King protest explains Obama deportations were wholesome. Trump deportations come with helicopter SFX.
Do you think that Trump is a king?
I don't think he's a king because he's not smart enough to be a king.
We're America. You rule because we tell you to, because we ask you to, not because you tell us that you will.
What's an example of that you guys are concerned about that he's done?
The ICE raids and deportation, well, disappearing of people.
President Obama deported 3.1 million illegal immigrants with ICE when he was president. Is that acting like a king or a totalitarian?
I think the big difference is helicopters landing on top of people's apartment building and kids being thrown out in the dark with pajamas on, left without their parents who've been taken away. I think it's a very, very different situation.
Taking away due process, taking away the voice, taking away, like I said, the things that we hold to be sacred, such as the justice system, not allowing trials, no communication, are things that Obama would protect and held sacred, even despite his attempts at anti-polarization, moving across the aisle, making concessions. These aren't concessions. These are movements of terror.
So it's the way that he's doing it that's different. ICE detention centers, which Obama also used. So I'm trying to understand, what's the critical difference there?
Obama is a man who went to law school. That is somebody who maintained professionalism. It's just the rhetoric, it's the movement, it's the type of divisive language that the GOP has been pushing since 2016 to get us to all hate each other and to fight. when they're the ones that we should be fighting.
This is performative moral panic. Calling someone a king because you dislike a policy is rhetorical inflation. Pointing out past deportations. Suddenly it's never about proportionality or law. It's about starring roles. They want to be heroes in a tragedy where nuance is the villain. Protesters didn't riot in LA, say these women, until shown literal pictures of a burning car and a guy doing donuts on a motorbike. Now check this out. The moment an Antifa sprinter learns that running from the police is not part of their cardio routine. One dude in gray thinks he can outrun the NYPD, but ends up face first on the pavement while the cops calmly turn his freedom march into a full-on wrestling match. Lesson learned. Shouting at police doesn't cancel out physics or handcuffs. Here we have another Antifa warrior who thought chaos was a career path.
What's up? You ain't gonna on me. Get him out of here! Roll in the van! KT, let me get the GoPro. Reload. We got a good lawyer here. We got a lot of lawyers. We got Aaron. Where's Aaron? We got lawyers. We got Aaron. We need you. We need a lawyer. We will win. We should the bad guy. You were like this. Now get away, man. Look at I got video, I'll send it.
He came swinging like he's starting the revolution, but the only thing he started was his arrest record. The cops didn't even break a sweat. They just let gravity do the job. One slip, one scream, and suddenly the fight the power chant turned into please let me up. Take a look at this Portland masterpiece where Antifa meets reality.
Let's go to the lefty heartland of Portland, where for weeks now Antifa types have been protesting outside an immigration and custom enforcement facility, and it was all fun and games until it wasn't.
Make your feelings hurt!
Yep, they got sick of it. But this has to be the best moment out of Portland in recent weeks and involves the ratbag crowd of lefty agitators outside the ICE facility being told to obey the law, but listen to the voice giving the orders. This is superb.
Restricted area that may be subject to detention. That's Donald Trump! That's restricted area. Thank you. This is the Federal Protective Service. The facility is closed and not open to the public. Stay out of the area of the driveway to allow for vehicular traffic. Remain on the sidewalk or across the street. Everyone must leave this restricted area that may be subject to detention. or arrest for failing to depart the restricted area. Thank you.
It starts with a news anchor roasting the lefty heartland. Then the footage cuts to chaos, water spraying, people screaming, and a crowd discovering that consequences actually exist. Just when you think it can't get funnier, a voice sounding like Donald Trump orders them to leave. Coming up, we've got another masterpiece of Antifa chaos turned sidewalk drama.
I'm minor, bro. I'm a minor. He punched me. I'm 16 years old and he punched me, bro. Shut the
Yeah, you like, don't like. Yeah, but we don't know what you do. What's your name?
I'm pressing charges for punching a minor.
All right, folks. Thank you, sir. Just give him a little privacy right now. Thank you. All right, just a little bit of privacy.
It starts with a masked hero getting manhandled to the ground like he owes the pavement rent. Handcuffs do what chanting never could, and the revolutionaries are politely escorted away while the crowd loses its mind. Then, a pro-choice protester gets trapped in her own logic when fetus suddenly translates to little human.
I just want to say that the rhetoric that you're spreading, especially in holding the patriarchal values, the values specifically for women, being in opposition to abortions being legalized kills women and kills people with uteruses. Pregnancy is extremely difficult on women's bodies. A lot of women die during their pregnancies and during labor. To put that pressure on women in restricting their access to abortions is irresponsible and it is murderous. You don't want to be murderous, right? That's the whole point.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you that one question. Do you want to be murderous?
Of course not.
Of course
Can
not,
I ask
right?
you a question?
Sure.
What happens during an abortion?
The flesh, if it's a later term abortion, if it's not through the pill, right? The flesh does get sucked out with a vacuum.
What is the flesh? Whose flesh?
The flesh of the fetus.
What does fetus mean?
Fetus.
Does anybody know?
means-
Can you shout it out? Fetus means little human.
Okay.
So, would you mind just repeating that sentence and say little human?
Okay. It doesn't really matter. It has a completely different functions.
It doesn't really. Let me just pause you, okay? It doesn't really matter.
You're arguing
because
about
you want
semantics.
to. No, hold on.
Give me the free.
Can we be genuine?
Yes, absolutely. That's
You
what I'm
asked
here
me
to
not
do.
to be murderous, okay? You refuse to say, suck out the little human because you know that it destroys your entire argument.
No,
I
it
think
does
that's
not.
disingenuous and I don't want to talk to you anymore. Next question.
That was disgusting behavior and was not that of a political persona.
You don't debate
or
someone who's
anything.
not willing to change their position if corrected with facts. So we're done.
It wasn't a fact.
Okay. Thank you.
All minorities are here to stay!
Some debates are won the moment you define your terms. She tried moral gymnastics but tripped over biology. When facts enter the room, emotional outrage starts yelling, "Disgusting!" as if insults can rewrite science. Spoiler, they can't. Meanwhile, a protester who wants open borders won't even open her front door. Irony just called. It wants its keys back.
Would you be willing to give him your keys?
I'd be willing to let him into my house.
Keys, like he needs to go right now.
I don't have enough copies.
Enough copies? Well, he'll be there when you get there.
Yeah, if I'm
So he'll let you right in. Don't you trust him? Do you not trust the illegal immigrant?
No, I do. Like I said.
All right, well, Felix, she wants to give you her keys because she trusts you enough to let you into her home.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I don't have them on me. My roommate has them.
She said yes, but her body language screamed absolutely not. Modern activism, all about enthusiasm on paper, zero commitment in reality. Fighting for everyone else's rights is easy, just don't ask them to actually open the door. Over at Ohio State, one protester tries to physically delete free speech and ends up getting deleted by the police instead.
See the black-haired, bearded guy? He's the one that went behind and turned off the display, which, you know, it didn't damage. It could have. What? You know, he just like pulled, could have blown the thing up or whatever. And then he hit one of our people.
I wanted to not see this imagery, therefore I bounced down and unplugged each one of the cords.
Okay. Yeah, what's your name, sir? So, well, you're being investigated for attempted potential assault. So you need to give me your information. If you don't give me your arrest, you're going to get arrested for obstruction. So you need to give me your information.
This guy is just making it hard on himself.
You're going to go down on the ground, or am I going to take you down the ground?
Real simple.
Put your hands behind your back right now.
You can't fight.
Ronnie, put your hands behind your
Hands behind your back. All right, put knees up underneath you. Wrist it up, 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Here we have a masterclass in escalating minor disputes into felony charges, because why negotiate when you can wrestle a Jumbotron and then ghost the cops? Apparently cooperation isn't in the activist handbook. Here's another protester who calls Biden fascist, then uncalls him fascist, then runs away before she has to define fascism again.
Trying to figure out what fascism means. Do you have a definition for fascism? You guys are out. Well, you guys are protesting fascism. I literally see fascist. So.
Fascist is when you think you don't have to be held accountable to anybody. Like you're a king. Like you.
Like Joe Biden wasn't held accountable to anybody. When?
Well, no, he wasn't. No, right. But I mean, all of the presidents.
So is he a fascist?
Yes. Well, no, not a fascist. I'd say that he's a warmonger.
Kamala actually didn't hold him accountable either, so is she a fascist as well?
I don't know if I'd call them fascists. I'd say I'd call them...
They didn't hold anybody accountable, and if that's what fascism means...
Are you here, like, being what about? What about? Like, you don't care about the current fascism that is actually happening? You'd rather focus on the past rather than...
Well, you said the fascism that is...
happening now. Now, you were asking me what's fascist, and I told you.
You're saying fascism that is happening now. What is fascism, like?
Well, they are destroying democracy. They gutted the Voter Rights Act. They are trying to make it so that he can have a third term, even when that's unconstitutional. And
the Voting Rights Act is gone, so that means like nobody can vote anymore. Certain groups can't vote. Like,
I'm not here to educate you.
Okay, thanks. Hopefully I can Google it. And
if your definition of fascism changes every time someone challenges you, you don't have a definition, you have a mood. Fascism in this worldview is not a political structure. It's just a label they slap on whoever they emotionally dislike at the moment. Next, a woman argues that breaking into a country is not a crime because her kids were born here.
You don't have family who's dealing with that shit. Oh, legally, what's legally? Tell me right now.
like me, I came to the U.S. legally,
How about you tell your eyes
and my folks came here legally. And I know him. He doesn't have a problem against migrants. He has a problem against illegal immigration and anybody that doesn't enforce the laws. When you come into the country illegally, what does that mean? What does illegally mean? It's 8 U.S. Code 1325. You break laws. It's that simple.
I'm not going anywhere because I was born here, my children were born here, and so on. And Mexicans aren't going anywhere.
This is where woke logic becomes fantasy. We now have activists insisting that illegal is just a mean adjective, not an actual crime. The rule is simple. Feelings decide legality. The law is bigoted. And citizenship apparently now works retroactively through your great aunt's birth certificate. Another girl says she's disabled, wants free healthcare, and refuses a free medical diagnosis because capitalism is bad.
I didn't have access to proper healthcare or even access to a job that would sustain me as a disabled person. I'm mentally ill because I am disabled in a capitalist country.
Who qualified you as somebody that's mentally ill?
Me and my doctor team.
My trouble is, in many cases, somebody you and I look up to will say something to us that we choose to believe for the rest of our lives. You're mentally ill, you're poor, we get to choose to buy into that or not.
So you're saying I'm not mentally ill or I'm not disabled?
saying you are or you're not. I would challenge it to go a little bit deeper to see if there's anything you can do about it.
I don't have access to a solution to my disability as someone with a connective tissue disorder. It's genetic.
You can't find a specialist.
I can't find a specialist
Is there
for who I
anyone in your
am.
life that's willing to pay for a specialist?
They would if they had
Anybody
money, but
would you be okay if I pay for a specialist for you to go see?
Yeah.
I'm going to have you go see 2 specialists, but would you also be open to seeing somebody else I choose as a psychologist?
No.
You're not.
No.
So
You're choosing who gets to determine what my mental health looks like. No.
This is the perfect example of how victimhood becomes identity. If solutions appear, the entire narrative collapses, so solutions must be rejected. She needs the problem more than she needs the cure. Patrick offered resources, she chose self-pity. That tells you everything.
I think that they should reopen the government so they can negotiate.
They're not going to negotiate. They had all the time to negotiate. They're pushing lies. Undocumented people have never received assistance in this country. That is not true. So this whole propaganda that they're pushing, that they're trying to get health care for illegal aliens. First of all, how are you going to say someone's illegal on stolen land? This was colonized land. Second of all, undocumented people do not receive assistance. Why is that lie continuing to be pushed?
And would you believe me if illegal migrants were actually getting benefits here inside the United States?
They are not.
If I showed you a video right now, would you believe me?
Because let me see your fake news, because it's not true.
Right,
Undocumented people do not receive assistance. That is not factually correct, and I would like to see your source.
These people were inside the Row Hotel, where there's also thousands of other illegal migrants living. Estaba quedándose aquí en el Row Hotel. ¿Cuántos meses es eso?
Como 7 meses.
¿Y han tenido que pagar alojamiento?
No, nada. No he pagado nada.
Es 100% gratis.
Sí. Okay. What I have to say...
Keep watching.
Well, they're getting benefits. They're getting things that we should be paying people, things like this. Healthcare to me isn't an issue that we should be paying for. With Medicare, yeah.
Undocumented people do not receive assistance. Well, they're getting benefits.
Modern protests have turned into theater, loud slogans, weak arguments, and a total allergy to facts. It's not about truth anymore. It's about moral performance. The moment evidence appears, the script collapses. Nothing's more fragile than an opinion built entirely on vibes and hashtags. Next up, the Gucci revolution, where smelling bad and calling people Nazis is apparently the new definition of justice.
Need to make some money, right, ma'am? Maybe after today I'll be able to buy some Gucci glasses like you. Maybe if I work extra hard and get some money from George Soros, I can buy myself some Gucci glasses. Mrs. Gucci, this is what democracy looks like out here. How much are you getting paid, ma'am?
Think I should hand out the deodorant? I gotta get deodorant, I'm serious.
Yeah, this one right here, she's got some gnarly armpit hair. Hit her with some deodorant. Got some gnarly armpit hair in there. Let's see if they can follow. Look, she's running fast. How fast do you want to run? We can run pretty fast with you if you want. Hey, can you tell these guys to stop following me?
Arrest this guy!
Arrest me! Now they're yelling I'm a Nazi. Now they're yelling I'm a Nazi. If I'm a Nazi, what makes me a Nazi? If you're gonna yell in the streets of New York City.
You're a Nazi.
How?
You're a Nazi.
Don't give him
Oh, you speak. She's wearing Gucci glasses. Isn't that against everything they preach? Becoming rich? Only the rich people wear Gucci. Look at her. You're wearing Gucci, ma'am. Shouldn't you not wear Gucci if you don't like the rich? Now they're celebrating a murder. Ma'am, you're kind of acting like a fascist right now. Look, at least we're making you get them steps in.
The protest was less about justice and more about self-expression. Luxury edition. It's amazing how everyone turns into a revolutionary until you mention personal accountability. Apparently nothing unites activists faster than a shared hallucination that every critic is secretly Hitler.
Support the deportation of illegal immigrants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. She's saying she doesn't.
If they're illegal, then yeah.
Do you not support the deportation of illegal migrants? And why not? He does and you don't.
It's not illegal.
Okay, if someone crossed over the border illegally, should they be deported?
I'm not too sure about that.
Hope I didn't just ruin their relationship.
The funniest part is not that she disagrees, it's that she genuinely thinks the word illegal is morally too harsh to apply to illegally entering a country. These people don't debate definitions, they reinvent them. Reality must bend before her ideology. The boyfriend simply chose survival. Here, watch a trans activist get bullied by an interviewer into silence mid-sentence.
The reality of the situation is that trans women, not men, trans women and other trans people are not predators. The statistics show us over and over again that trans women are not predators.
But do you agree that not all cis men are predators?
Yes, of course.
So why don't we let cis men into women's spaces as well?
Again, this is a bad faith argument.
Why? Why can't you answer the question? Why is it a bad faith argument?
Still want to do this?
Yeah, I am.
It is interesting how I'm having a perfectly fine debate here, but there's someone else coming around trying to convince them not to speak to me.
I'm done. This is a bad faith argument. You are not actually here to ask good questions. You are here to have bad faith straw man arguments. You are pathetic. This is a low, low bar. I expect more from journalists. It's a bad faith.
So you're now personally insulting me but can't answer any of my questions, but I'm the one who's got a bad faith argument?
I'm done now.
Okay, you done?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Do you have any last words?
You're good.
There you go. Apparently I'm pathetic for asking very, I would say, reasonable questions about women's safety.
Their logic is basically, statistics don't matter, evidence doesn't matter, outcomes don't matter, and ideology is self-authenticating. You are required to believe the slogan even against the data, and if you ask questions, well, now you're the threat. Truth is only valid when it flatters the activist. Next, a protester tells white straight men to listen to women, then can't define what a woman is.
Message to straight white conservative men.
Listen to minorities, listen to women, listen to people who are trying to educate you. Don't live in ignorance just because it's easy.
What is a woman?
That sounds like a loaded.
You can't demand everyone listen to women when your movement has spent 5 years insisting nobody can define what a woman is. You built your entire argument on a category you refuse to even describe. Activism without definitions is literally just noise with merch.
What do you think that he's done so far that makes him a king?
Deporting the National Guard to Democratic cities, that is a complete abuse of federal power. Just putting the National Guard in LA, now they're trying to put them in Chicago. Like, the cities and the states did not request help from the federal government.
So the administration did that because people were attacking federal agents in those cities, in Portland, Chicago, and LA?
We actually just moved here from LA, So and we can were in confirm LA. that where the National Guard were in LA were 5 minutes away from us, and that was not happening. I also went to a protest where nobody was attacking any federal agents whatsoever.
Some of my friends who are journalists, former colleagues, were on the ground in LA during the riots. I mean, that's what they're calling them, when they were burning police cars.
Like we said, we've gone there. I don't think people dancing in a circle is exactly riots. I also don't I haven't yet to see any riots personally with my own eyes, and any videos by legitimate.
Okay.
I've been yet to see that proof. I would love to see some proof of that, but if you want to show us those riots, I'm more than happy to see it.
Can I have your phone? Can you pull up X? Oh, one of my good friends, Julio Rosas, was in LA. He's also
Last May?
Yeah, a few months ago here during the summer. Andy No is a good journalist who covers it a lot. I used to work with him, but
We actually don't have a bunch of time right now.
okay, that's fine too.
Apparently fascism showed police stopping us from having a little car fire bonfire party. They scream peaceful protest until the reporter literally shows burning vehicles, and then they suddenly have a meeting to get to. Wild how the schedule clears when receipts come out. Final clip, a faculty member says speech is violence, while a man who is literally speaking.
I'm faculty here. I also support a protester in the back.
You think that speech is violence?
No, I think that
That's what that sign says.
the conversation that you're having is oppressive.
So
It
I am oppressing
contributes-
people by what I'm doing. I am exerting violence on people by my speech.
It
That's what the sign says, and that's what you just said.
To
And the
erase-
protester is saying that's exactly what I'm doing, and she's saying that's exactly what her sign means. So that means that you, a faculty member at an American public university, paid for by taxpayer dollars, are conflating speech with violence.
Yes. Speech can be violent. What you are saying contributes to systemic racism in this country. It means that my students of colour are pulled over and accused of stealing a car when they did not.
I'm not pulling anybody over for stealing
I'm
any
not
cars.
saying that-
This is the foundation of liberal education. If you cannot understand that there is a difference between speech and violence, you don't understand anything that undergirds the liberal arts or liberal education.
I've been to art school for 8 years. I understand liberal arts extremely well.
Imagine going to university to hear a guest speaker, and a faculty member pops up to say that simply talking is violence. Not threats, not fists, just disagreeing. Professors used to teach how to debate. Now they teach how to emotionally melt in public. Next up, we've got Mr. Beanie in sunglasses thinking he's smooth while chatting up a police officer like he's on a date.
Last week we're going bump sentence there. They're going to Plumstead Station. Waiting for you. In the van yet?
No, here.
They're going to Plumstead.
This one's waffling. This one's waffling.
Look at the state of it.
Get your hard drive checked.
That's all right, bro.
Oh, yes, respect to you, sir. No problem.
No worries, that's all right.
Thank you. Cheers, brother.
That's what it's all about, boss. Respect me, man.
You see me, I learned that piss off, home.
Meanwhile, his buddy in black is quietly getting led away, probably realizing that shouting doesn't make you invisible. The officers stay calm and our Antifa star learns that Plumstead Station is not a nightclub. Classic. We've got an Antifa protester who thought peaceful protest now means smacking someone's bumper.
Embarrassed to mention it.
So, come over, talk to my partner.
Yeah, I did. I'm just getting some video for.
Well, if you're the one with the pepper spray, let's get.
Is your wife still over there? Yeah.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Have a fun trip.
Fast forward 10 seconds and they're sitting on the curb like it's halftime at their own pity parade. The officer strolls in, cuffs them gently, and boom, another revolutionary turned sidewalk philosopher. Guess that flag's waving surrender now. This time, Antifa thinks there's some tactical squad, dressed in all black like it's Halloween every day.
He's right here. Hey, bud, you come with me real quick? Yeah. He's gonna come with us. He's right here. That's it. You ready to come with us, bud? I'm not doing anything. We're gonna go get him. Get away. Stop following him. Stay right here. Hey, stop. Hey, you take off running, you're gonna get charged with that.
Here comes Samuel Fawkes and Christopher Gillott, the heroes of the day, refusing a polite request to come along. Watch them struggle like a toddler who dropped his ice cream. Meanwhile, officers are calm, just doing their jobs while chaos theory plays out in real life.
Bring the units over here. Over here. Yeah, I got it home. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Do not reach for that gun. You will get shot if you reach for that gun. Don't reach for that gun. Let go. Let go. Get up. Bring it. Help! 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 Get the pistol. Get the pistol. Pistol. Stand up. Stand up. Help! 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 Mark unit one. Mark unit one. Frank, over here, that's you. Help! Hold on, son. Just get straight back down. Walking out the crowd. You got him? Yeah, we got him.
Asking for help and they're saying
No, fine. We can take care of it later. Back up.
What does he need a medic for? What does he need a medic for?
Back up. Back up.
He's falling for a medic. What does he need a medic for? What does he need a medic for?
Megan Grant adds her dramatic flair, wrestling on the ground like it's a WWE match. Every punch, shout, and flail just reminds us how fragile the Antifa cosplay really is. The mugshots say it all. Revolutionary energy, zero results. And finally, here's a masterclass in how spitting on authority goes wrong.
It's not that hard to just not do stupid things. But when you do stupid things, there's gonna be consequences. Just ask this idiot right here. Watch.
Get out of our state! Get out of our state! Get out of here! Get out of our state!
Here we have a guy with glasses and a black cap thinking he's the main character, yelling, spitting, and acting like chaos is a personality trait. The cops, unimpressed, flatten him to the ground faster than his ego can recover. Next, a woman asks a black MAGA supporter about white privilege and instantly quits the conversation like it's a bad Wi-Fi connection.
Person of color, do you believe in white privilege?
I believe in all privilege.
So you don't believe that people of Caucasian race have certain privileges over any minorities?
No, there's nothing a white person can do that I can't do. Can you name something a white person can do that I can't do?
No, that's all I want to know.
No, I'm serious.
No, I don't want, that was my only question and my only statement. In an ideal society, there would be no racism, but I don't think, at least like America as a country, I don't think we have the capability of doing that right now.
No country has the capability of getting rid of racism. And right now, you can't even name one thing a white person can do that I can't do as a black man.
I can name them. I didn't show up here to have a debate. I'm just not.
Oh, no, it's not a debate. I'm just curious.
Even a back and forth conversation. Not in the mood for a political debate.
Privilege is complicated, but he simplified it. If you can do it, everyone can. Not exactly what she expected, so she immediately canceled participation. Modern discourse. When logic shows up uninvited, the debate quickly evaporates. Then, a protester claims ICE handcuffed a baby, but when asked for proof, his Google search fails, so he resorts to the universal argument, profanity.
Handcuffing the kid in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about that. You said they were handcuffing a child in ICE.
You were going to show me that it was fake.
So I pulled one up, and it could not be the one that you're talking about. Are you talking about this image that was going viral?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay, so there's no other image that's going viral. So
is that fake?
That one was, yeah. It was a dad
fake?
Handcuffing his child as a joke.
See.
So prove to me that happened then, because you brought it up. I don't need to prove a negative. Is there photo evidence of it?
I don't know. Let's see.
You said a child being arrested, handcuffed, is what you said.
So let's see if I can find that video.
That's okay. Take your time, please. No rush. We want to get the truth out there. That's what we're focused on. By the way, how's your night going while we're waiting?
I don't.
What'd you just say to me?
I said.
off.
You don't like me?
No, I don't. You support this. You're here for this. I don't like you. I don't like you
that's
at
fair.
all.
You don't have to like
I
me. You don't
can't
have to
believe I'm in the same country with you.
I treat people that I disagree with politically with respect. You don't need to do the same. So you're okay.
I still dislike you.
It's not going to make you win the argument.
No, it's not.
Or the conversation. So you can be as rude as you want.
Do you think there's a winner?
Huh?
Do you think someone's going to win this?
Truth is going to win.
All right, so we're focusing on one thing that I saw that I can't find a picture of, correct?
Yeah. You want to know why you can't find a picture of it?
Huh?
You want to know why you can't find a picture of it? Because it's a baseless claim that you're regurgitating.
Did they still jump down from helicopters and detain U.S.?
You're changing the subject.
Did they jump? Was that true?
Changing the subject because you can't prove it, right?
Currently, I can't.
Is that correct?
talk.
We can slow down and treat each other with respect, by the way. We can do that. Okay.
I can't find that picture.
Yeah, of course you can, because it doesn't exist.
Well, if I give me enough time, and maybe I will.
Keep going. I'll give you all the time. I'll give you the entire night to find that photo.
All right.
Yeah. You're gonna have to find an AI version, sir.
Some claims are too outrageous to survive a simple fact check. When pressed for evidence, outrage instantly turns into profanity, modern activism, make a wild accusation, dodge accountability, and sprinkle in some colorful language for emphasis. Facts, optional. Volume, mandatory. And finally, two elderly protesters say they're against fascism until they realize deporting illegal workers is exactly what every country does.
What brought y'all here today?
Fascism.
Same.
What about fascism?
We need to get rid of it.
It's not for us.
Nope.
Not for our country.
Some Democrats I've interviewed today are okay with deportations provided it's just criminals. What's your thoughts on that?
I think if people can be proven to be criminals and they get their day in court here, and it can be shown that they have a criminal record, and I'm not talking like jaywalking, I'm talking murder, then deport them.
Now, if you and I, say, went to Germany and we decided to get a job under the table, should we be allowed to stay in Germany indefinitely?
No.
That's up to the Germans.
Yeah.
You said no, but why?
Because you shouldn't work in a country where you're not allowed to be there.
So
you go through the process.
Old school values meet modern activism and awkward pause. Saying no fascism is simple until the conversation requires logic and consistency. Suddenly agreeing with basic law feels dangerous, like they might accidentally support reality. And that's today's masterclass in when outrage meets reality. If you enjoyed watching Logic knock out performative activism, hit like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell.